Take a look at this animation. Take a very close look. Doesn't it suck? Yes it does. But this single animation here led me down a path I would have never gone on without it, and made me want to push the quality of the animations for our indie game beyond what we had originally planned. Today I want to take you through that journey, where I went to a Mocap studio for the first time, dragged my poor girlfriend along with me, and moved around like idiots for a whole day. But first, let me tell you a little bit about what we're trying to achieve. We've been building the fundamental mechanics of the parkour system for our indie game inspired by Assassin's Creed and Dishonored. Things started off pretty smoothly since we started the process by integrating Unreal Engine's motion matching system and the amazing animations that come along with it. However, that didn't get us very far. The free animations are enough to give Silas the basic moves like walking and jogging, crouching, sprinting, manual jumps, and a few vaults and mantles. But that isn't enough to really develop a complex parkour system. You're missing, for example, the entire climbing system, more interesting moves like sliding under and over objects, drops, different vaults, swings, and this little demon animation that made us have to go to a Mocap studio in the middle of the desert heat. Beam jump. These little rascals are pretty common in movement-based games, but it's pretty hard to find some decent animations ready to use in the Unreal Engine marketplace, so we had to make our own. And we often try and go to the Unreal Engine marketplace because our budget is pretty limited and it's just a good way to find decent assets that you can use in a game. But because this is a pretty important move to have and the marketplace didn't have any high quality animations, we needed to take matters into our own hands. We want the game to make you feel like an unstoppable assassin, one that uses rooftops and the city's architecture as your safe haven and a place of planning and attack. It's a game that sets out to give you tools that will make you more powerful than all the enemies that stand in your way simply because they do not know that you're there. If that sounds like a game you'd like to play, make sure to wishlist it, as it really helps support this small indie game. So yeah, the second we moved out of these basic animations and moved to develop the first interesting animation, beam jumps, well, safe to say that things weren't looking too good. And that's just one mechanic that there's a problem with. Start to mix in stealth, combat, shooting, chokeouts, and other parkour elements, and when looking at the options available in the Unreal marketplace, it was clear our needs weren't being exactly met in terms of the quality we are aspiring to with this game. So we got to thinking, how can we get a hold of better animations for the rest of our project? Since it was clear that our needs for custom animations would extend beyond simple beam jumps. We could, for example, hire animators to hand key each animation from scratch, but that would take too long and every animator would probably quit once they saw the amount of things that we need. We could perhaps hire professional stuntmen and create intricate mocaps for each specific animation we need, but that would be too expensive and your boy doesn't have the money. Maybe go to Cascadeur and use AI to help create some of these animations in a quick and accessible way. To be honest, that's probably the most sensible choice for a project like ours. So we did something else entirely. Me and my beautiful girlfriend Sophie headed to the USC Mocap studio, grateful to be able to use it for a crazy reduced price thanks to being former students, and do the stunts ourselves. So that's exactly what we decided to do. Head out there and do what we always do, our very best. The entire experience was a blast and one we were definitely not prepared for. I'll go deeper into what that was like later when I chat to Sophie about it, but for now you need to understand why animations for a game like this is so important. A huge part of the fantasy is being an assassin in a flow state, which means you need animations that don't break your momentum, that don't break that flow state. If you assassinate an NPC walking, for example, the momentum is going to be much slower than if you assassinated that NPC running. So we need to create kill animations in Mocap of me running and stabbing Sophie, my poor beautiful girlfriend, who's kind of filling in for that NPC, and then have me keep on running. We also need animations for what I mentioned earlier at the beginning of this video, which are the beam jumps, the wretched beam jumps, which is what triggered this whole issue to begin with. And I'll show you how much they improved at the end of this video when I talk to Sophie, which we'll do right now. Motion capture. I didn't know that if you choose to make a game in third person, you're just going to spend your life needing more animations. Whenever you think you've got enough animations, the next day the programmer will be like, these animations suck, we need more animations. Or if you want this mechanic, we need animation. Everything needs a fucking animation. There are certain things in the marketplace that have so many animations. If you're making a shooter game, you're good, because there's so many fucking gun animations and shooting animations for third person shooter and taking cover and everything like that. But because there's not that many stealth games out there, not that many like Assassin's Creed inspired stealth games, Assassin's Creed inspired animations don't exist, which led us to the issue of needing to create our own animations because there wasn't very good ones on the market.
Do we have footage of you trying the beam jumps in real life?
I think. Oh no, because what I did was, because I don't know anything about parkour apart from playing it in games, I thought it'd be fucking easy to like make beam jump animations. How hard can it be to just jump on beams? Really fucking hard. You look like an idiot unless you're doing it properly. So what I did was, when I saw the beam jumps that we had from the initial prototype of the mechanic, they look like shit, and I was like, we need them to be better. We looked at reference from AC, from a great parkour game called Rooftops and Alley, from other parkour games, and I was like, okay, I just hop in between beams, moving my arms in opposite directions, and it's gonna look amazing. I went down to the gym the day before going to the Mocap studio and just practiced jumping on the lines on the floor.
Wait, did we do this together?
We did this together. Well, I did it alone, and then I was like, come here so you see how fucking dumb this looks. I've never been so humbled in my life than when I recorded myself fucking. But we don't have the money, A, for anything, B, for stuntmen. The traditional kind of approach is either get animators to hand key simple animations, and if you need complicated animations for movement or combat, you get stuntmen who are good at these things, you put them in a mocap suit and you make them do shit. So if you need parkour animations, you get someone who's really good at parkour, like a tracer or a parkour artist, you put them in a suit and then they go around doing parkour moves in your studio. Because we don't know any people who do parkour and we don't have money to pay them, we self-volunteered / I obligated Sophie to come with me to do animations together. Sophie didn't need to be there for the parkour animations. I did that, but you still tried some vaulting.
This is a parkour video, but the craziest animations I did were for stealth.
My project managing brain was like, if we're going to spend a whole day at a mocap studio, let's not only get parkour animations, but also get some stealth kills, some combat animations, some NPC animations. Basically try and get as much done as we can with one day of filming. And it was very successful for the most part. There are a few mistakes we made. A, we didn't label things properly, so now we're going through the mocap footage and I don't know what the fuck is what. B is we weren't, I mean, you can probably get it from every video we're making, but we weren't very professional with how we did it. Because usually when you need a mechanic to work, you need various different versions of that animation to work on different sides. So for example, if you need a cover animation, you need to make a cover animation from the right, and then you need to make the same animation from the left. And you need to make it from, you know, if an enemy is walking towards you or if an enemy is like facing the other way. You need various different versions of each animation. We riffed more than anything, we kind of improvised. So we have like a spare cover animation for a guard looking the other way, but not when he's coming towards you, and a bunch of stuff that then the animators that we're going to work with need to fix in post.
We just showed up and hoped it would help for something.
But we showed up with a good attitude. As we were alluding before, we did parkour animations but also stealth, and that's why I needed Sophie as the second character. So I was Silas with a knife coming behind Sophie and stabbing her in many different ways.
Okay, I'm gonna say, even though I knew that it was completely fictional, that he's my boyfriend and that everything was fine, being in that situation and getting stabbed like that multiple times for the animation is actually quite scary.
And I felt ashamed of how good I was at that. Because when we were doing parkour, there was complete silence with the team that was helping us because we were a disaster. So we rock up to this place. They put us in suits. This team's like a team of professionals. They work with actors most of the time, and then it's just two idiots trying to make an indie game. And we start doing parkour, and none of us can do parkour. And you know what fucked me off? That the guy running the studio, who's a lovely human being, so talented, so professional, used to do parkour.
But when did we figure that out?
When we were like an hour in, he was like, maybe we can set up a table like this and do a vault like this. He does a vault, and it's the most beautiful vault I've ever seen. And I'm like, why didn't you get in the fucking suit instead of us? But it was too late now because it takes so long to set someone up in a suit. So we were stuck doing parkour in a bad way in front of someone who does it in a good way and wasting our time and money. But then we saved it with the stealth kills because the stealth kills look amazing. And the best stealth variations in the game will come from those animations.
And we were there from like 10 to 5 and we broke down in the middle.
Had a break? We also broke down. I think the most encouraging thing about this entire process is that once we paid the money to go to the mocap studio, which was for us, even though it was really cheap, a lot of money because this is a very tight budget, and we spent a whole day with no AC, sweating, doing parkour, doing stealth kills, and trying to get something good out of it, mislabeling things so then the workload is larger later on. We found out the next day that mocap studios are kind of outdated and you can do this at home.
No, okay. He found an app, as all men do, that does something with AI. I was very skeptical of it. I think you tried it and it was like decent.
Yeah, the thing with AI things is that it solves an issue we don't have, which is it's very good mocap for simple animations and interactions. But we don't need mocap for simple interactions because the marketplace has so many animations for simple interactions or common interactions. What we needed was complex mocap for complex animations like parkour and stealth.
So I'm still glad that we did it. But then the thing that became a problem was that we took all these animations to the programmer and he was like, we can't use this. You need an animator.
Yeah, again, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. So we were like, okay, great, mocap, get the animations, get the motion capture, send it to the programmer and he'll just magic into our game. So we had to spend more money on getting an animator to help us. And thankfully we found a lovely, lovely human being who has helped us make these animations really polished, cleaned, blending in well with everything else. And that's why you see the before and after with the beam jumps on screen. These were the before beam jumps and these were the after beam jumps. The difference is insane.
With my animations, I'm significantly shorter than him and than the average human being. So obviously, like, you can't just put my animation for any NPC, you have to adjust the movement so that it matches like an average height.
Right, because I was stabbing Sophie in the back, but Sophie's 4'11". No, I'm kidding. She's not 4'11". So that was another reason why we needed an animation editor. I kind of want to do another mocap sesh for cutscenes if we have the budget, which we don't, but we're applying for funding as any indie game does. And if we do, I'd love to do like a mocap session with real actors and get some cool cutscenes for the game. But that's kind of like a stretch goal, I suppose. The most important thing about this game is that the gameplay is good. When you play the game, every time you kill a guard, just know you're killing my girlfriend.
No.
So if you have something against Sophie,
That's actually horrible.
it's horrifying.
It's horrible.
It's so bad. So when you're doing an active state stealth kill, trying to keep momentum during running, and you see Silas run into a guard, stab the guard, drag him down, and keep on running, that's your boy doing some serious fucking legwork. Wish list, newsletter, video on the screen. Goodbye.